Hello, welcome back to part 3 of why I'm breaking up with imposter syndrome and why you may want to consider it too. So I've touched on ambition and being ambitious as a kid. And actually, it doesn't matter where you grew up because many people I've spoken to, this has been their experience. Apart from, and I'm generalizing here, but one of the groups of people that I have spoken to about this are actually people that went to private school, whether that was boarding school or a day school. And they actually have a different approach. They actually have a well, yeah, obviously, of course I would be here. I'm going to do a great job. This is just what I'm doing. So off we go. And that has popped up a lot over time, to the point where sometimes I've seen people in certain situations and I've almost been the person of thinking, is this person really the best for the job? I'm sure we've had those experiences too. Today I want to talk about being bored with my own frustration. What will people think is something that runs through my head a lot, and it runs through my clients a lot. And a lot of it is deep rooted into childhood, into teenage years of not wanting to be different or not wanting to stand out, but actually then realizing that we are different, which therefore requires us to stand out because we want to be entrepreneurs, we want to be business owners. So we better find a way to do this, otherwise we're not going to make any bloody money. All of that. And my first question is if you struggle or if you have a relationship with this feeling of what will people think, I want you to get very clear about who those people are. Who are they? Is there a group? Do they exist? Is it a real group of people? And what would also, just going to stop that beeping, also, what would they say? What would be the worst thing that they could say? And I want you to go there. And I want you to delve deeper. And I want you to think about the worst possible scenario ever. And I've spoken about this before, but I remember being in a shop quite close to where I lived. And I was 36 weeks pregnant. And I was massive. I was not running anywhere. I was not in a position to do anything apart from be pregnant. It was that time. I was ready for him to come out. And I think this was one of my last trips out and about. And there got to a point where I was like, right, I need to just be close to home now. And I remember seeing somebody from a distance that I went to school with. Somebody that was cruel to me, that threatened me, and also that I believed, because I did believe that she would actually do something, because that was the standard that she had for herself. You know, she delivered on her promise. If she said that she was going to do something after school, you better watch your back. You better watch your back, because it was true. It wasn't just empty threats. She definitely, carried through on some of her words. And I remember seeing her from a distance, and I remember thinking, and it brought me back to all of that feeling of, oh my God, she's going to get me. What do I do? How do I feel safe? That real vulnerability. And then I realized that I was 33. Then I realized I had a choice. I could just leave the shop and get in the car and drive away. And I also realized that I was in a different stage of my life. I was heavily pregnant, and if this person came for me, nearly 20 years later, and was coming towards a very heavily pregnant person for no reason, there was something probably quite wrong. But in my head, I went to that place of well, at least there's security, because that was the fight or flight fear that I had of what do I do? How do I escape? I can feel it right now. And moments of that fear have shown up a lot. Thanks for coming to my counselling session, by the way. Lots of, but I'm talking about it because it's real, you know? When these moments happen, they're universal. So many women, so many people out there are not doing what they are meant to be doing in this world because they're worried about what people think. They're not being in the full expression of themselves. And I am at a point of nearly 42 where I'm bored of it, because actually the way that my life has moved on now, the different position that I'm in, I'm not in those teenage years. I'm not kind of in those teenage years where I'm reliant on other people. Other people are reliant on me. And so I have to decide whether or not something is relevant to take up space, to be a block in the way. And that's not to say that I just decide of saying, right, that's no longer an obstacle, so off I go, I'm moving on. Not the case at all. But when I see that, I can't unsee it. And I then have to make the decision to work it out and to figure out what this thing is and really pull it apart and find a way to make friends with it. And something else that has really helped me is working out who is in my corner. And I know this is a typical kind of coaching thing, you know, where you have the angel and the devil on your shoulder, or, you know, people call it their shadow, where they say, oh, you know, Maureen is here again. She's trying to hold me back. She always shows up, Maureen, you know, whatever. Other names are available, and many Maureens are fantastic people. But as I've analysed the last 20 years, so it's 20 years since I graduated drama school, it's 10 years, or rather 10 and a half now, since I qualified as a coach. I'm really looking at who has been in my corner, who has been consistently there in the good times. And yes, there have been many amazing, brilliant, great times, but also who's been there in the bad times, the dark periods of my life, the moments when, yeah, I'm not going to go into it, but the tough, tricky moments. Who has been there at the end of the phone? And because of the way that I'm actually quite a private person, my circle is relatively small. Those people who get to see that vulnerable side of me, that person who has been there in the good times and the bad times. I'm sure there's a song in there somewhere. And so I've realized with what will people think is I had this recognition that these people are not going to be there in the good times. They're not going to celebrate me. They're not going to be one of those people, you know, who are like a genuine cheerleader. I would consider myself one of those people. I want to see you win. I want to see you fly. That's why I'm always in the toilets at weddings when somebody goes, I've got this business idea, Nikki. I'm like, great. Well, what do you want to do? Tell me your big dreams. Like, I am a dream keeper. I am that person in life. If you see me on the school run, people are coming and talking to me about these things. I said it to another mum the other day, and if you're listening, you know who you are. She told me an idea. I was like, brilliant. Yes, can see it. Totally works. Get a lawyer on it though. Like that's who I am, because I want to see people win. And so when I was stuck in this, like, yeah, but what will people think? Doesn't matter what success that I'm going to get or that I'm building, because they're not going to be supportive of it anyway. Equally, when I've had my darkest nights of the soul / months / years, they're not there either. And so I want you to do this work today. And as a closing question, consider how much power they are having over how you're moving forward. And what you might find is it's not relative. It's not in keeping with where you're going. It's almost like going out and wanting to have a lovely time, but then remembering that it's going to rain 4 weeks on Tuesday. It's not relevant now. It's taking up too much weight of you having a great time on that day. And it's the same with your business. You have things that you want to be, do, have, and create and feel. And somebody will always be really annoyed the fact that you're doing this. They will. They may tell you. They may absolutely tell you. I've had it. People have said like, whoa, all right, I saw you talking about your business again. Or like, you think you're something, don't you? It takes a lot of confidence to be on, like, all of that. All of that. I've had it. And I'm sure I've had way more stuff of people saying things behind my back as well. Of course, I'm a human being. And sometimes it's annoying when people are moving towards their goals and dreams because in return it makes somebody stop and look at theirs. I've done it myself. I've had to unfollow people on social media or mute things and gone, that's so annoying that they're doing that thing. Yeah, because when I sit back and I sit with that, I'm more annoyed with myself for not doing the thing. That's why I'm not annoyed. I don't care whether they do it or not. In fact, they've probably been working hard, so absolutely do the thing. It's always about me. It's never about the person. I hope that's been useful for today. Yeah, I feel like I need to do some kind of clearing and tapping or something and get that energy out of my body. But I hope that honesty helped in some way. I'll see you tomorrow for part 4. Bye.